It's all worth it because of the magnets.
OMG.
Why, yes, they are all in numerical order. Why do you ask? Welcome back to the Face of Tomo. Yeah. We have encountered something of a speed bump here. You see, the thing is, this vehicle is carbureted. It has a fuel pump, which puts out, about 4 pounds per square inch. That's how it came from the factory, of course. That Miata is fuel injected. Fuel injection means the fuel pump puts out incredibly higher amounts of pressure, about 80 pounds per square inch. Speaking to my guru on all things CB2, that's the chassis code for this, has me saying you either need a new tank and an in-tank fuel pump, or, let's see, what was it? A secondary tank and a secondary fuel pump so that fuel flow out of this stock meant for a carburetor tank is smooth. I'm not sure if I want to do that, the second option. So what I'm determining is, can I perhaps retrofit the harness from this car for the fuel pump into this car? Now you've got one hole in the top of the tank. That's for your fuel sender. That is to tell if how much fuel you have in the gas gauge, on the gas gauge. There is no other hole on the top of this tank. This tank is not very old. I only replaced it like 3 years ago. So I'm a little miffed that if I do have to replace it with something that is not shaped to this car, in order to better take a look at what's under this car, how the fuel system works, and how it's piped, I need to lift it. I don't have a lift. I've got these. So, having jankily jacked up the car, that's there because where that jack is rather rusty, rather the floor jack. So the other jack is there just in case. Even though, even if the car came down, I don't think I'd be that damaged. So for future use, the exhaust comes out on the left side on the Miata engine, and the Mazda MA engine currently installed comes out on the right. So I'm just looking at that, eyeballing it. It doesn't look like it would be too difficult to span that over, and kind of to where the muffler is, which is obviously the stock location, even though that's a new muffler. And look at these new welds. Man, only a year in and they're already rusty. Yes, now I need to really discover the secrets behind this, which means crawling further under the car. Fun. So there are 3 fuel ports exiting the gas tank, going to that non-stock and very jankily installed fuel pump, and then presumably obviously going up there. So, interestingly enough, that is similar setup to the Miata's Question is, can I retrofit a freaking pump out of that thing? Maybe. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how small my brain is and its capacity to remember all the things that are features on my car. Stock, this has an intake and return line from the gas tank. That makes my job just a little bit easier. My evil plan thus far is... the trunk is closed. My evil plan thus far is to fashion a custom harness for the Miata's fuel pump. Either A, put it down here, B, put it somewhere under there. That's where the fuel lines in and out of the tank are. Somehow, and somehow, many somehows here, get the Miata fuel pump to play nice with this tank. Some assembly and welding required. Cutting, because I believe this tank is aluminum, so it's going to be cut. Now on to other matters, such as uncovering the Miata's ECU. We are here in the passenger footwell, and there's a little bit of a problem here. Those are fine. That's all rust, in case you couldn't tell. I don't think this has ever been uncovered. As such, it's going to make my job rather harder. And today, I am still trying to get this Miata to run properly. It's still running rich beyond my wildest dreams, and also just misfiring and not doing well. It's an ongoing process, and I figure I may as well fix this thing before I put it into this drivetrain into Matomo. And so today's step is fuel pressure regulator. And that does indeed look like the original fuel pressure regulator. If not, it's still extremely old. So it is these two bolts, which look like they haven't been disturbed this century. And you have a fuel line down there. And what else? What else we got? You have two fuel lines down there. Ordinarily. Well, I'll figure that out. But yes, that was the fender, because the fender is all sorts of screwed up. So I have to remove that there, or actually rather whatever that leads to, without getting gas all over myself or the engine. So should be mighty fun. Upon looking at the new one, which this one is by Brick and Arnley, so that's fun. Yes, there are two fuel lines. One is just goes right into the intake, where so yeah, it just latches in there. I've been told make sure you have a new O-ring, which this one does. There they are. New O-ring. It's just two hoses, and then this thing, which is just really just a vacuum line, as far as I know. Looks like garbage, but I think it'll still function. I'll bet my teeth that this regulator does not function, so let's get started. So, in order to get this out, you need to unbolt these two bolts. Well, the one on the left was a little bit easier with this to get off. The one on the right is a little bit harder, and that's where I'm at the moment. But yes, also you need to unhook this fuel line, which, fun fact, this wasn't connected to anything, as you can see there. That's just like, that clamp is not holding down anything, least of all the copper fuel line to the rubber. So I was like, yeah, we have some slack. So I just chopped, or my brother actually chopped this. And then we were able to get that damn thing off. You may, in fact, need to remove this, which looks like a vacuum line for the power brakes, I guess. We'll find out shortly. In the end, between all the fancy socket wrenches that me and my brother have, it was this humble wrench that got it out. Seriously, Mazda, this was below par as far as design goes. Well, my original plan of using a vice grip to keep a ton of fuel from spewing all over the engine bay backfired, because that's copper, so I'm not going to clamp that down because I'm not insane, and that goes toward the bit that I'm wanting to replace. So just have some nice old, just some old shirts to absorb your gasoline when you're doing this. Rags are also applicable. All totaled, it wasn't too much of the gasoline in that tube, which is... So I avoided getting my face full of gas, which is more than can be said for the guy whose video I watched, so I win. And now, on the back of my Tomo, we will transplant the old part for the new part, which I've taken out of the box multiple times, but, you know, it's more impressive to do this. This new part does not look exactly like OEM, and that's most likely OEM, by the way. However, it seems to be in the same ballpark, so it should work. So just push that in there, which I did off camera because, you know, I need my hands. It's not sitting quite happily, but, you know, I believe that's what the bolts are for. Maybe push that in a little bit more, but nothing to it. And also attach this vacuum line, because that's the entire point to this doohickey. Now, all in. That there, plugged in nice and tight, and that as well, plugged in as it should be. I was worried because I had to, ultimately, in the end of the day, I had to chop a little bit of hose off on both sides to get them off, because after a mere 33 years, yeah, they weren't coming off by conventional means. Now, if I were, you know, a smarter creature, you know, let's say a Nietzschean Ubermensch, I would just get some new goddamn fuel lines, but, you know, I'm lazy, so that's not going to happen yet. Now it's time to test if that did anything. It has been sitting a while, but I think it's running less rich. I'm not really smelling anything. We'll let it sit for a sec. Okay. I may have fixed it. We'll see. Except maybe I should watch where I'm going and not crash into anything. I haven't, but I almost did. Let's continue down the hill, shall we? That is to say, I'm going this way to see if I can not... Well, if I can get up the hill. Because I couldn't get up the hill earlier. So let's see. Uh-oh. Not happy. Uh-oh. Still not happy. And again, let's try that. Yeah, she's not happy at all. Alright, I'm putting her back. Alright. still not running quite right. Bottom of the hill start just started bogging down really bad. But most other cruises around, popping in the clutch, as it were, and etc., just fine, which is a lot better than it has been, for sure. So there's still things to chase here, but I think we've done well today. Okay, let's see what it does. That. However, when I turn it off, okay. Of course, it is tricky to get it back going. There you go. Okay, I'm in gear again. Just fine. And it's only after, maybe 30 seconds of it being in operation that it decides, you know what, I'm gonna run like crap. So I'm pointing toward the ECU at this point. Day 4 of the Wretched Miata project / Resurrect the Tomo project / the Wretched Miata project. And I'm losing my mind. Just kidding. I think that's coming. That'll come later. I just had a test drive down the amazing distance to the beginning of the gate, and from what I can determine, after replacing the fuel injector regulator, which is there, yeah, it will run decently for about 30 seconds after you turn it over, and it doesn't matter if it's warm or not. Seems like when it wakes up, it runs great, and then the ECU takes over and decides, you know what, we're gonna run like crap. I haven't confirmed that. That's just my hunch. Yes, today we're going to attempt to replace the fuel pump, which is underneath this, and we also have a fuel filter. As you can see, there are boxes there, and that goes under the car. So need to make up my mind which one I'm going to do first. Probably the fuel pump, because I mean it's right there. Frankly, in part because both of those cost me like $10, and it's not tremendously difficult. I'm going to replace the fuel pump and the fuel filter anyway, just because I have the parts, and it's either A, do them now, or B, do them later, when this is all configured into a car that it wasn't designed for. So, I'll do it now. But yes, I need to make up my mind which I'm doing first. And it's the fuel pump first. Interestingly, that's Kana, which is, my weebtastic brain, giggles at that, which is cool because this is eventually going on Tomo's gas tank, so that'd be neat. And 2, there's a screw loose. Hell, there's a screw missing. I'm not ready to just say, yes, this is in fact the cause of all my problems. But stranger things have happened, so I'm going to do a quick test and see if that has anything to do with it. I kind of doubt it, though. Extra dumbass pro tip. In order to remove this, you push up on this bit with your thumb. There. That worked. I spent too long figuring that one out. Also, while I was here, I couldn't help but notice that the ground for this battery was all rusty. Like, that entire area is just, see where the battery case is, it's just all rust. I don't really care. But, I care enough for the duration to kind of just sand that down so that maybe it has a better contact. That could help. I'm not quite sure, but it could help. Just a reminder, yeah, always put a, paper towel, t-shirt that you don't like underneath some fuel lines so it can catch the extra gas. I have removed one because it was easy. The other one is not so easy, but not a tremendous amount of gas, it's just annoying. Also, additional tidbit of information, we did do a test drive because my brother's insane. He put his finger on this, and it seemed to run a bit better. And my working theory at this point is something like, well, there's no cover for this. This hood, this top, is got holes in it, big holes in it, and I live in the Pacific Northwest, and I extracted this from somewhere deeper in the Pacific Northwest. So what does that all mean? Well, my money is that there's in fact a lot of water in the gas from just sitting for a long time, and that could just be my problem. All right, it is out, and well, immediately there's a problem. That is supposed to look like that. So, yeah, it needed its time. It has been draining for a spell, and an additional discovery: that gas is awfully full of sediment. So, yeah, I think draining the tank and getting some fresh gas would be helpful, I think. Because we are, in fact, a pair of troglodytes, we had to... Oh, the sun hides my sin. We had to drill, or rather saw, excuse me. We had to saw this piece off of that piece. Because after a mere 33 years, the Phillips head screw would not come off. No matter how hard either of us tried. And my brother looks like Popeye the Sailor Man, so, it wasn't a lack of arm strength. But yes, be sure to remember to replace that O-ring if your kit came with it, and mine did. And everything else that the kit comes with, just use. This filter is sold separately. It requires that to be put onto that peg, as you can see on the old one, which by the way is horrible. Yeah, we're just gonna finish this up, drill a new hole where this old one is just kind of sealed as one unit, and then see if that does anything, and then eventually another day we're going to drain the tank and see if clean fuel is going to fix anything. This is not perfect, but it's on there. I need to plug that back in. Try to be a little less destructive when you're trying to unscrew something. Day 2 of the fuel pump saga. It's decided to, rain because Pacific Northwest. And yes, I have deployed a awning very poorly because I'm over it. Please tell me how badly it was done in the comments. Yes, I need to do everything I did yesterday again. And on the other side of me taking the fuel pump back out, I will explain to you why. So, fun. So, it is out. And here's our problem. So this is a harness that came in some Miatas, NA Miatas, and this kit, with this hose, which I dug out of the garbage, is meant for another kind of harness. And so, what I'm going to do now is be destructive like a child, and chop this off because it's not matting nicely to this. And I'm just going to take the hose, squeegee that on there with some hose clamps, and then perhaps I will have fuel. Because, as I didn't tell you until just now, when I put this all back together and put in the fuel pump into the tank, I tried turning it over and it wouldn't do that, so there was no fuel pressure. So, yeah, let's rectify our mistake before the rain comes, which is coming very quickly. Now, naturally, I was too busy running from the rain and trying to get this in quickly to take a video of what actually we did. Also, that is my brother's daily driver. And yes, he is nuts. Why do you ask? Yes, so we did all that I described. We had put a rubber hose bit that came with the kit, sawed off the bell housing. Actually, the bell housing is in here. Why not take a walk through the rain with me? Yes, welcome to my inside the garage little hovel of a workshop. So we took this off, drilled it off, or rather sawed it off with that. Please, keyboard warriors, scream in the comments about how much of a bad idea that is. Yes, took that off, put a rubber hose on. I didn't even take a picture. Bad of me. But yes, and put it back in, and now all that's left is to seal it up, put screws back in it, and see if I have pressure. There we go, and look, my fuel sender works again. Nice. Oh my god, it might in fact be working. Alright. She's very cold and very knackered, but whatever. Whew. Still running kind of like crap. Still kind of smelly, but we're down here at the bottom of my gate. Gonna try and pull up. We're next to the red Ford, and maybe I should do this hill start with, there we go. That is just fine. If it wasn't so damned rainy today, I would be taking it for a test drive. Be that as it may, it's running well. It's running very nicely. Oh, and I should watch where I'm going. You're looking at the gauge cluster, but I'm seeing other things. Alright, hill start. That's normal. For once, this thing is running normally. I think we have ourselves an accomplished mission.